everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be my top 5 best books that I've read so far in 2019. If you love favorites, I will be linking down below my best books that I've read in 2018. But yeah, I had to choose 5 books that I loved, and just basically it's an excuse to read about my favorite books all over again, right? So out of the 35 books that I've read in January, February, and March, here are the 5 best ones in my opinion. Let's be real, all of these will come as a huge shock, but Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Is it truly a favorites video without at least one Brandon Sanderson book? I don't think so. This is his newest book. This is a YA sci-fi, and I have to say I was a little nervous to actually read this because, I mean, it's Brandon Sanderson, I shouldn't be, but I had read the Recursion series, the first book from that series, which was also YA sci-fi, and it was my least favorite book by him, which was still a solid book, just not as good as his other stuff, and this is actually really, really good. So I'm gonna attempt to summarize this because it's a bit complicated since it's a hard sci-fi, but on a different planet there are kind of the remnant of humanity, and these people call themselves Defiants, and they have to try and survive continual attacks by alien every time they grow too big in numbers, so they kind of hide in caves and everything. And you're following the story of a young girl. Her dad was part of the people that fight back, and he was a pilot, which those people are like the people that everyone looks up to. And her dad escaped one day during a big battle, and he was killed, and basically now he's shamed, and being a coward is the worst thing you can be, since obviously they're called Defiant, right? So growing up, all she wants is to also become a pilot and kind of clear his name, her name at least, and try to fight back and help humanity. So if you like spy ship battles, I think you would enjoy this one. Even if it's not really my thing, military usually, I did enjoy this one quite a bit. The humor was definitely YA / quite fun. I really enjoyed it. There's a sentient spaceship, which it's really, really funny. And there's also Doomslug, which shout out every time I talk about this book. You need to read the book to really know what I'm talking about. And yeah, overall just really, really enjoyed it. I liked how the main female character wasn't the classic main female character in YA books. And she's not necessarily likable in the beginning, but you can definitely tell that she's growing quite a bit throughout that one first book. And as is the classic Brenderson's fashion, the ending is like, oh my god. He always has a good ending, like his ideas and everything are always great. And I like how it's satisfying, you know, like I still want to continue. The next book is coming out, I believe, in November this year. And I still want to know what's going to happen, but I still felt like I got a bit of the mystery information at the end, which, yes. So yes, overall, a fantastic book, totally recommend it, loved it, definitely one of the best books that I've read so far in 2019. And this is the gorgeous, gorgeous UK cover, by the way, because the US one sucks. By the way, there's no romance in here. There's like kind of someone that you're seeing that they might be shipped together, but then Brandon Sanderson came out and said that he had tried to include romance and then he decided against it. So if you don't like romance, you're good. The next book is also a first in a series because this one is going to be 4 books. This one, Nevernight by J. Kristoff. You can see by the amount of post-its that I went ham in here. I did do a reading vlog if you want to see it. It is spoiler free, which I try to do whenever I can. And this was epic. Epic. And I highly recommend this. You're following a young girl who wants to get her revenge. Her family was killed, and she, in order to do that, she goes to an assassin school and she will learn poison, magic, how to fight, and there's just so much stuff that happens in there. I love school settings, so obviously love this. And I appreciate once again that she wasn't the pretty little frail little girl and that she was flawed. I appreciated how the author was not scared to make you, you know, to just grab your heart, throw it on the floor, jump on it, you get it. And the universe basically was super interesting. A few people were mentioning that there's quite a few like notes at the end, at the bottom of the pages, which obviously every time I try to like find some, I can't find any. Like look, literally half the page is footnotes. But I felt like they just kind of gave you more information about the world, and I didn't notice them that much. Like in the beginning I was like, ugh, you know, it's a little difficult to always go back, kicks you out of the story, but by the end I was like, give me all the info you can give me about the world. And if you get the audiobook, by the way, it's just read throughout the whole book as it comes up, so you won't even notice them probably. You are left wondering, will she survive? Will she be able to avenge her family? And it's great. There is some romance in here, and I'm not someone that likes romance. But I still at the end kind of ended up shipping some people, so I guess it's not that bad. I'm gonna be reading the second book like ASAP, and then the third book is coming out at the end of the year, so if you want to start reading it, you won't have to wait. Next book is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. This is the second book in the villain duology, the first book being Vicious. And I had liked Vicious. I feel like it's a popular adult kind of sci-fi dystopian world where you're following two friends in university that kind of finds a way to develop superpowers, but instead of becoming superheroes, they become super villains. And I thought the premise was super interesting. I liked how the chapters were actually really short, so it was easy to go through the whole book. And I enjoyed myself, but I felt like it wasn't like an all-time favorites for me. But book 2 though is absolutely an all-time favorites for me. It was so good. You meet a new female character and she's like the best villain ever. Like, loved her because I mean, you find yourself kind of rooting for her, and that's always like a good sign. So I highly recommend this duology if you're someone that enjoys superheroes. And I have to admit, I'm like actually super sad that it's done. Like, I want more in this universe. Like, I just need more. I can't recommend this enough. So good. Fourth book I needed to talk about is Grey Sister by Mark Lawrence. I know, shocking. Again, school setting. In this case, you're following a young girl who eventually makes her way to this kind of school run by nuns who are badass. They know how to fight, they know magic, and she will learn to do all of those things. And I really enjoyed how you're actually seeing these young girls grow throughout the whole series. And once again, the characters are flawed. There's some nice people and some not nice people, and there's a lot of political intrigue, and it's kind of a post-apocalyptic world too. There's a lot of pressure to try and like save the world at the same time, and it's overall just really fascinating. And I just always need to mention how grateful I am that the author actually talks about these young girl being like 6 feet tall and actually having a lot of muscle, which makes sense because there's like 4 different types of magic, and one of them being people that are kind of like almost giants. So it's just so refreshing, and I really appreciated it. And yes, I am actually finding myself rooting for some people in here, which is like something I never do. There's like no heavy romance like at all. You might ship some people, but like nothing happens. Don't worry if you don't like romance, but you do need to read the short story, which I'm kind of giving a shout out here, Bound by Mark Lawrence, and that's to be read between book 2 and book 3, and you will definitely possibly also ship people here because I so did. Like, I wasn't really feeling anything in book 1 and book 2, but 2.5, I am rooting for people. Just overall a really fantastic series. I don't want to like say too much. Obviously this is book 2, but I'm just giving the whole series a huge shout out. You need to pick this up. If you're someone that usually enjoys fantasy or YA fantasy, you need to go through this. You just need it in your life. Absolutely love it. By the way, book 3 did come out earlier this month, so you can also binge read the whole thing and not have to wait, which is like one of my biggest pet peeves, so that's why I'm always mentioning it. Last but not least is a book that I actually don't own because it's only coming out in June, but I was super lucky. I got an e-arc on NetGalley, and I need to rave about this book because it is the 5th best book that I've read so far in the beginning of the year. They weren't in order, by the way, but you know, it's number 5, so it's here. Recursion by Blake Crouch, because wow. If you like Dark Matter by him, you need to pick this up because you're gonna also like it. I feel like his forte is to always make you very stressed. And when you're reading, you just can't put the book down. You need to figure out what is going on, what's gonna happen. I also really love his kind of mix of thriller sci-fi. It just gives you like, it's just always a brilliant idea basically that he has, and it's no different here. In this case, you're following 2 different people. The first one is a NYPD detective, I believe, and he kind of is investigating this weird thing. It's a dystopian world. People are affected with like false memory syndrome, and just people wake up one day and they have like 2 sets of memories. So for example, they can remember themselves like choosing to marry this person or this person, and they kind of have to like go through it all and like figure out what the hell is going on. And it seems to be like spreading through people too and just getting worse, and obviously people can't really cope with those 2 sets of memories. And then you're also following a young neurosurgeon, and she's trying to build this machine to help people with Alzheimer's, for example, to try and remember those like important memories in their lives. And things happen. I'm not gonna say more because obviously this is the type of book that you need to just go in pretty blind and have your mind exploded. I'm just gonna say though that the first half of the book I feel was a lot weaker than the second half. So if you're finding yourself being like throughout the beginning, definitely continue because like shit goes like crazy towards the second half. I loved the second half. So you need to read this again if you enjoy Dark Matter, because this was so freaking good and I just need to talk about it to everyone. June, I believe 11 that it's coming out. You need to read this and then we can talk about it, because I need to talk about it. Plus, have you seen that cover? Like, how gorgeous is that cover? So again, totally recommend that. So those are the 5+1 special mention books that I've read so far in 2019. Please let me know in the comment section if you, one, I've read these, because I want to know your opinion, and two, what are your favorite books that you've read so far this year, because I am always happy to have more recommendations. So that's gonna be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. I love talking about like the best books, my favorite ones. It's always fun to rant. I mean, if you like a good rant, that's definitely a channel you should subscribe to. But sometimes you just want to give recommendations to people and rave about the same book over and over again. I will be putting on the screen other videos that I recommend you check out, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.